Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. Here's a recap of our top stories from the week. A Wapwalapan man is facing multiple felony charges after police say he assaulted a Butler Township officer during a traffic stop in Drums and tried to take the officer's gun. Authorities say 34-year-old Elizer Diaz Jr. was pulled over Thursday afternoon on East Butler Drive for driving a motorcycle without a registration plate. Police say Diaz refused to comply and then attacked the officer, placing him in a headlock and reaching for his firearm. The officer was able to break free and restrain Diaz until backup arrived. Investigators say Diaz was also in possession of a handgun. Diaz is charged with aggravated assault on police, attempting disarming of an officer, resisting arrest, carrying a firearm without a license, and several traffic violations. He was treated at a hospital, arraigned, and denied bail. A preliminary hearing is set for later this month. The Madonna del Monte Festival concluded on Sunday at Our Lady of Peace Parish, formerly Most Precious Blood Church, with the annual procession through the Hazleton city streets. It was their 126th year of celebration, and the event originated from the small village of Anzi in southern Italy. This year's festival was the first for Our Lady of Peace Parish since Most Precious Blood merged with Our Lady of Grace Church earlier this year. Hundreds of people attended the celebration. The parade began on Sabre Street with a procession of candle houses and statues. Parishioners also celebrated the saints of the Salento region, Saint Anilo, Saint Mardo, Saint Nazarius, and Madonna del Monte. The community gathers every year for the event to celebrate Catholic traditions, enjoy delicious food, and share fellowship with everyone in the community.
Butler Township Police have identified the man that led them on a 6-mile chase Sunday night. A patrolling officer states he witnessed 22-year-old Avon Moranta from Hazleton driving erratically at the intersection of South Hunter Highway and Stonecroft Road. Moranta allegedly passed the officer at a high rate of speed, and police tried to stop him, but his speed increased to between 100 and 120 miles per hour. After a nearly 6-mile chase, Moranta suddenly stopped his SUV near the intersection of South Mountain Boulevard and Mountaintop, where police were able to put him under arrest. The report states Moranta told officers he was, quote, sorry for doing that, and, quote, having a bad day, unquote. He was taken to Lucerne County Correctional Facility on $7,500 bail. Area officials held a public hearing in Archibald yesterday on the future development of data centers in our area. Pennsylvania Senators David Argyle and Rosemary Brown hosted the hearing to inform residents on the risks and benefits on data centers. Testimony came from multiple panel experts on local impacts, energy and water resources, economic development, and construction and workforce. Over 300 attended the hearing, with hundreds more watching online. Some of the attendees still have questions on cost and how it will affect local resources, but hope those will be answered as local Pennsylvania governments decide on future data centers.
A funeral service was held in Weatherly yesterday for the murdered 13-year-old from Drums, Jacob Delgadio. Luzerne County Children, Youth, and Family Services made the arraignments and kept the information private to protect the identity of his siblings. Many Luzerne County officials and first responders attended the funeral and honored Jacob with a salute. The Flying Aces Motorcycle Club and Bikers Against Abuse paid their respects after finding out Jacob loved motorcycles. Cesar Delgadio, the boy's adopted father, has been charged with criminal homicide, child endangerment, tampering with evidence, and obstruction as a result of Jacob's death on August 4th. Virginia Delgadio, his adoptive mother, has also been charged with child endangerment, corruption of minors, and tampering with evidence. They are being held in the Luzerne County Correctional Facility without bail. A new COVID-19 variant called Stratus is gaining ground across the country, including Pennsylvania. The CDC says it's now the third most common strain, making up at least 14% of cases nationwide. Stratus shares symptoms with other Omicron variants, but may also cause hoarseness, a possible new symptom. Health officials say the possible new symptom could help distinguish it from earlier strains. First detected in Southeast Asia in January, Stratus showed up in the United States in May. It was labeled a variant under monitoring by the World Health Organization in June. CDC models do show infection rates rising in 40 states, including Pennsylvania, but wastewater data shows virus levels still remain low in our area. Flooding reports arise in Luzerne County due to recent storms. Houses and major roadways in the Hazleton area have experienced flooding from Wednesday, August 13th rainfall. The sinkhole at Horton Street, Wilkes-Barre is being observed out of serious caution since there were tremendous storms back in the month of June. Floodings have also occurred at the intersection of Arthur Gardner Parkway and State Route 93. Floodings mainly occurred in the Heights section of Hazleton City, according to Hazleton Mayor Jeff Cussat. According to Wilkes-Barre's fire department, about 30 homes are being inspected. Basements are also being pumped gallons of water. The West Hazleton Police is investigating a shooting involving 2 suspects and 1 victim. On Wednesday, August 13th, a bystander was injured as a result of 2 conflicting men recklessly firing guns at each other. The shooting also resulted in shots fired at occupied buildings and across roadways, endangering other innocent bystanders. One of the shooters was identified as Guillermo Ventura, age 21, and according to investigators, Ventura was who fired the shot injuring the victim. The second shooter is yet to be identified. The victim was taken to the hospital, their condition being unknown at this time. After being arrested, Ventura was charged with aggravated assault, discharge of a firearm into an occupied structure, recklessly endangering another person, and propulsion of missiles onto roadways. The West Hazleton Police is seeking to identify the second shooter and others who may have been involved. Anyone with information on the identity of the second shooter or additional details on the incident is asked to call 570-455-3733. Coming up on WYLN News, we check in with PA State Representative Dane Wadrow on Wadrow's Weekly Update. Plus, WYLN historian Chris Fulmer leads us down the path through history with Danville Part 4. And stay right here on WYLN. We'll be right back.
WYLN News brought to you by Lehigh Valley Hospital, Hazleton's emergency room team. Your experts in any emergency. When emergencies happen, minutes and expertise count. Lehigh Valley Hospital Hazleton is now part of Jefferson Health.
Hi, I'm Leo. Tomorrow's going to be sunny.
We want your child to be our WYLN weather kid. Your child can be our feature weather reporter of the day on WYLN News and WYLN social media posts, just by using your smartphone or any video recording device. It's easy. All ages are welcome, from toddlers to teens. To find out how, go to the weather section of WYLNTV.com or look for our post about it on the WYLN News Facebook page. Submit your weather kid video today. If you're looking for an affordable pre-owned car or truck, Cheers Auto Sales has a great lineup of clean, dependable, and quality vehicles. Stop in at 610 North Broad Street in West Hazleton, 570-454-7229. Cheers is proud to be celebrating 70 years in business. Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicap accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969.
Something is out there. What it is, no one knows. However, since its first sighting, there have been numerous reports of strange lights in the night sky. Some say they are extraterrestrials, flying saucers. But to all of those seemingly unrelated uncertainties, there is one common thread.
Solo Spaceman. Watch Solo Spaceman on WYLN Thursdays at 1:30, Saturdays at 7, and Sundays at 4:30.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
Hey! Did you know WYLN posts news stories and other bonus content on social media all week long? The Weather Kids, Fresh from the Farm, Everyday Heroes, Let's Talk Sports, Feel Good Friday, daily news stories, and more. Visit WYLNTV.com, Facebook, and YouTube to check it out. WYLN, the local leader on social media. We're your local network.
Hi, welcome to Watro's Weekly Update. I'm here today, Preston Edge, the host, and here with me is my good friend Dane Watro. How are you today, Dane?
I'm doing very good. Thank you for having me. The weather is warm, so I'm still happy to see that, but real heavy downpours this week.
It kind of came out of nowhere. It's like we're living in the Amazon all of a sudden, don't you think?
Yeah. It was heavy. A lot of washouts from what I'm hearing. The Hazleton City firefighters were very busy yesterday, from what I understand.
Yeah, Luzerne County is ultimately dealing with this, and it's going to be quite a hassle to deal with.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but thank you again for having me.
Yeah. All right, now, so since we're here, and you brought up some cool things, and we have this little seminar coming up for a very important cause. What wouldn't be at this point?
Yeah, it's a financial fraud, and it's unfortunate that we're experiencing high volumes of, especially our seniors, being scammed, and fraudsters out there trying to take their money, trying to take their assets, bank accounts, so on and so forth. So we're teaming up with the Pennsylvania State Police Area Agency on Aging, and we're going to make this a pretty fun, let's call it a seminar, but it's going to be a bingo, and we're going to. It's gonna be pretty neat. It's the first time I'm doing it, so just bear with me. One thing I did learn throughout my tenure as a state representative: senior citizens take bingo very serious. So I better not screw up any numbers or anything like that. But that's going to happen August 27th at 9:30 a.m. at the Catholic Social Services Center. So once again, August 27th at 9:30 in the morning. I'm excited.
Yeah, you are right. You should not mess with senior citizens when it comes to bingo.
That's very true.
Although my grandmother was not really much of a bingo person. She liked to go to the club and dance, but that's aside the point. That sounds like fun. We're also getting down the important cause. It's good.
Yes, yeah, important cause, but we'll try to make it a fun way. And I really encourage people, if they get a phone call, do not give out personal information. Get a number to call back, and even call my office to find out if it's legitimate or not.
Yeah, that whole scam thing, it's all over the place, and at this point it feels almost impossible to stop indefinitely.
I know, but we'll try. We'll definitely try.
I see here that you also got an upcoming town hall.
Yes, upcoming town hall is August 20th at 2 p.m. at the Beach Mountain Lake Resorts down in Drums. I am going to attend on this panel with State Representative Walsh, who represents the 117th Legislative District. He's having a panel regarding school tax elimination. Now, this is a conversation that's been around for quite some time, because let's face it, we got to make sure that our schools are funded, but not on the backs of our seniors and our taxpayers. Do you raise higher sales tax? Perhaps that might be a solution, but we want to hear from people. People will be coming there and testifying, and we'll be hearing directly from the people. Like I said, it's an issue that I hear over and over again. And unfortunately, it's more like a regional issue, not a statewide issue, as we suffer here in the eastern quarter of the state. Out west are not having the same very issue, but this is something that we need to talk about. Once again, August 20th at 2 o'clock at Beach Mountain Lake Resorts. We kindly ask everybody to RSVP, call my office, get your name on the list. That way we know how many people will be attending that day. So pretty excited about that. That's going to be next week.
Everybody got that? Good. Okay. All right. So, yeah, best to reserve, and so they will be actually able to give their testimonies, and because you got to hear them out too.
That's right. Yeah. And then prior to that, if you don't mind, on Monday I have a town hall meeting via telephone. And what I always try to do, Preston, I try to have special guests on with me. Sometimes I have the good senator attending with me. Once before, I had the state treasurer, Stacey Garrity, was a wonderful guest I had on a few short months back. But this week, should I announce who I'm going to have on, or should we keep it a secret?
Do what your heart tells you to do.
Okay. We're going to have a former mayor, I believe, on with us, and a fire chief, a local fire chief. I'm not going to say if it's a city, a borough, or a township, but we will have a fire chief on with us as well. So I'm super excited about that. Monday, that's going to be Monday, August 18th from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. I'm going to have a call out, so everybody that's registered on repwatro.com and signed up for my weekly newsletters will receive that information and get a call. If they don't get a call, there's going to be a number that they could call in. So that number could be located on my Facebook page, Instagram, and on my website as well. So once again, Monday, August 18th from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock will be my telephone town hall meeting. We usually roughly have about 1,000 people on the call. I take questions, we'll respond with answers, and hopefully we'll have a good, roughly hour-long conversation.
That sounds great.
Yeah, I'm excited about that as well.
It's a nice little reminder. So.
Yes, every week it would be great to talk about it. September the 12th at the Laurel Mall in Hazleton. So September 12th starts at 9 o'clock. I believe we have close to 70 on hand vendors, but also with the vendors, we're going to be giving flu shots, shingle vaccines, checking blood sugar, cholesterol screenings, so much more. Drug drop-off. So if they have prescription drugs that they got to get rid of, bring them. We're going to have 2 locations in that Laurel Mall to drop off prescription drugs, to include eyeglasses. There's going to be a spot to return eyeglasses, and I believe that's going to be through the Lions organization. I believe so, but there will definitely be a spot for that. September the 12th. Starting at 9 o'clock, Laurel Mall in Hazleton. I hope to see as many seniors come to this expo as possible. We have great vendors there on hand.
So thanks for sharing all
Thank
this.
you.
This was pretty good.
I appreciate it.
All right. With that said, on Watcher's Weekly Update, I guess we'll see you next time.
Welcome back to Feel Good Friday. I'm joined here with Dr. John. Dr. John, how's it going?
Ryan, I'm grateful to share some of my experience with those who are listening.
Yep, and today we're going to talk about tailored treatments because the last TV show you did, the girl got adjusted and was quite rough. And when you have to adjust me, it's kind of, quite soft. So
You're right. Many people will come to me because I am on the gentler side. They've been roughed up and hurt by rougher chiropractors. But the opposite of that coin, if a 20-year-old wrestler, football player sees me and needs a more physical adjustment, so I can do more physical. This woman said to me, I'm 70, I love that you're gentle with me, but my 40-year-old son is hesitant to come here because he thinks you might be too gentle. And I told her, if he has no arthritis and bad discs and stenosis like she does, we can be more aggressive. So a good chiropractor tailors the adjustment to the specifics of each patient. So you can get a rougher or a more gentle one. So communicate with your chiropractor, get an adjustment that's tailored exactly what you want.
Yep, excellent advice here on Feel Good Friday. We will see you next time.
This week on Let's Talk Chiropractic, we're going to talk about spinal decompression, where you gently traction the spine to take pressure off of the disc. It has saved people's lives. Literally, they were going to commit suicide. So watch the show, see how traction could help you.
Wyln TV 35 is expanding and is on the hunt for a dynamic salesperson to join our vibrant team. If you've got the passion and the drive, we want to hear from you. Send your resume to the email displayed on your screen. Don't miss this great opportunity.
Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicap accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969. Do you like craft beer? Do you want to learn the right way to sample wine? How about checking out a restaurant with a unique flavor or a crazy food challenge? These are just some of the things we are featuring on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. So, spend some time learning about great wine, great beer, and great food on WYLN TV 35. Attention WYLN viewers, WYLN TV can now be seen on the Hazleton Service Electric Cablevision HD tier, channel 507, and over the air at 35.1. WYLN, we're your local network.
Hi, I'm Lou. Tomorrow's going to be sunny.
A Path Through History is sponsored by the Old Jail Museum, 128 West Broad Street in Jim Thorpe. Call 570-325-5259 or visit them online at theoldjailmuseum.com.
By the early 20th century, the iron mills that sustained Danville for so long were in decline. The rise of steel, which was stronger and more solid than iron in many ways, had spelled the beginning of the end of the iron industry. And yet, the iron industry would still contribute to Danville in another way. One of the major iron barons had been George Geisinger. After his death in 1883, his widow, the former Abigail Cornelissen, inherited a fortune. She gave this fortune freely to the town, including purchasing homes for elderly women to live in. At the time, the nearest hospital was in Bloomsburg, and Abigail would often drive those in need to it herself. Deciding Danville could use a hospital of its own, she informed town leaders of her decision to build a modern one in the community, dedicated to her husband's memory. Ground for the hospital was broken in 1912 in the William McGill property east of town, with the architects bent on adhering to Abigail's demand to make my hospital right, make it the best. By September 1915, the George F. Geisinger Memorial Hospital was ready to open, and Danville decorated for a big celebration. But the party was canceled when a typhoid epidemic struck the town at the last minute. 121 cases were recorded in the Danville area over the ensuing months, and many of the worst victims would be the new hospital's very first patients. Today, Abigail Geisinger's hospital has become a major regional healthcare provider, and the original Danville location still serves patients from all over the region with top-grade care. Abigail Geisinger died in 1921 and rests today in Danville's Oddfellows Cemetery, her legacy in the community more than secure. One notable stop in the trolley lines during their heyday was a dance hall east of Danville in the village of Grovania called Montour Park. In 1934, prominent Columbia County businessman Lester Herr purchased the dance hall and reworked it into the Peacock Gardens, a name made clear by the peacock motif on its walls and live peacocks in the garden out front. June 13, 1934 would be the opening night at Peacock Gardens, headlined by Buddy Harrelson's local radio band. Over the next decade, the venue would become a popular place for class reunions, weddings, banquets, and other formal affairs, as well as to ring in the new year each December 31st. It would open regularly on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays for dining and dancing by the general public. Peacock Gardens closed in 1942, and only a small portion of the dance hall's foundation still stands today. One of Peacock Gardens' employees in 1937 was 16-year-old Bud Yeager, who lived on a farm in Grovania with his parents William and Gertrude and his 10 siblings. At 9:30 on the night of April 22nd, he walked home from work with his younger sisters Amy and Earla May, who had gone to the store for groceries and had stopped by Peacock Gardens on the way back to ask if he could help them carry the flour sacks. As the trio entered their house, they heard their mother screaming from the upstairs bedroom. Bud instinctively ran upstairs and was immediately smashed in the head with a lantern by his heavily drunken father upon entering the bedroom. He grappled with William and ultimately managed to push him down the stairs before tending to his mother, whose face was bleeding heavily. William promptly returned with the rifle, but Bud fortunately had one of his own and bashed his father in the head with its butt, knocking him out. With the threat thus momentarily neutralized, Bud got his mothers and sisters to safety in a hollow behind the house, then ran to the neighboring house of Joseph Crum and told him what had happened. Crum drove Bud to Danville to alert Montour County Sheriff Riley Lindner of the altercation. And Sheriff Lindner in turn notified State Police Barracks in Muncie. By 11 o'clock, Lindner and his deputy Joseph Ray, along with State Troopers John Fessler and Thomas Hooper, arrived at the farm to arrest William Yeager. When the lawmen entered the house, however, a revived Yeager, sitting at the kitchen table with his rifle in hand, opened fire on them, hitting Fessler in the chest. Fessler shot Yeager 3 times as he fell, incapacitating him enough for the suspect to be handcuffed and arrested by the other officers. Yeager and Fessler were taken by ambulance to Geisinger Hospital, but Officer Fessler succumbed to his gunshot wound early the next morning. His body would be taken back to his hometown of Cressona for burial with honors. Thus, William Yeager would be subsequently charged with first-degree murder, the first homicide case in Montour County in several decades. On the stand, Yeager insisted he was innocent, claiming Officer Fessler had been shot by accident by his partner Officer Hooper instead. The jury did not buy this argument and convicted him of murder on June 1, 1937. Yeager promptly fired all his defense attorneys and appealed for a new trial, but both the appeals court and the State Board of Pardons denied his motions. His execution was set for February 25, 1940. It would never be carried out, however, as William Yeager committed suicide in his cell with a .32 caliber revolver on the day before he was set to be transported to death row in Bellefonte. As his family had been carefully vetted each time they visited him, authorities suspected one of the guards had given him the gun, although the guilty party was never found. William Yeager was laid to rest in Espy's New Rosemont Cemetery. Afterwards, some in the area came to wonder if his soul had perhaps placed a curse on those who tried him, as both his original defense attorney and the judge who had overseen his conviction died soon after Yeager's death. In later life, his son Bud Yeager would have a long career at Danville's TRW automotive plant and had 3 children with his wife of many years, the former Edna Lynn. He died in 1987 and rests today, along with many of his siblings, in Lime Ridge's Elam Memorial Park. In addition to the Victoria Theater, other movie houses would grace Danville over the years as well. The Luna Theater operated on Mill Street August 17, 1912, with a capacity of 552 patrons. It was purchased by the Comerford chain in 1924, and its name was changed to the Ritz Theater in 1931. It burned down in 1936. The newer Capitol Theater was built in the Ritz's former site and opened on July 8, 1936, with the Jane Withers film Little Miss Nobody. It had a larger capacity than the Ritz with just under 1,000 seats. The Capitol Theater closed in the mid-'80s, although the building still stands, with the screen and orchestra pit still intact inside. There have been calls in recent years to rework it as an arts center.
SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond Contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Rinnai, and trained comfort specialists, call SJ Kowalski at 570-455-2600. WYLN programming is online all the time. Visit our website at WYLNTV.com to check out archive shows and a live stream of our broadcasts. And don't forget to visit all of our social media pages for breaking news, weather, and sports. You can also head directly to our YouTube page for all our programming at youtube.com/WYLNTV35. Subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time there's a new show available online.
Hi, I'm new. Tomorrow's going to be sunny.
Hello, I'm WYLN historian Chris Fulmer. Pennsylvania's communities are filled with interesting history. Come with me as we discover the people, events, industries, and other historic facets of local towns.
You're watching WYLN TV 35,